This slide highlights some of the early gods of Hinduism during the Vedic period. The three major gods, and most mentioned in the earliest scriptures, are Indra, Agni, and Varuna. They are listed in the order of how often they are mentioned in the Vedas. Indra is the god of war, and much of his mythology relates to how he vanquishes disorder. He is also known as the great Soma drinker, a hallucinogenic elixir that aids this god in his wartime exploits. The second most mentioned god is Agni, the god of fire. This god is considered a messenger, a mouthpiece to the other gods. The third often mentioned god is Varuna, who can be thought of as a god of the oceans, of the sky, of law and order. This god's mythology will eventually relate to Dharma, that relates to duty and virtue. The next group of gods are a sampler of gods that more specifically relate to objects or processes of nature. You might recall from the first module one of the origin theories of religion on nature worship from Max Muller. Soma, an extract from a mushroom or cactus, had hallucinogenic properties. The chanter priest would ingest soma, enabling them the ability to have ASC, altered states of consciousness. So what started out as a drink or extract would be projected to Indra, who is the great soma drinker. This extract would also be deified as a god. Speaking of the nature worship theory, Ushas, the god of dawn, and Savitar, or Surya, gods of the sun, bring up an interesting myth. You might recall the story of Apollo and Daphne from the first module. In this myth, Apollo, the sun god, chases Daphne, goddess of dawn, just like every day the sun chases away the dawn. Well, guess what? Vedic religion has a similar myth, with Savitar chasing Ushas. Remember that much of the Vedic religion is informed by the Indo-European side of the syncretism we spoke about. The remaining gods listed on this slide are clearly related to objects and processes of nature, such as death, sky, earth, wind, and rain. Now, it appears that early Hinduism is polytheistic, having many gods and goddesses. But this raises a question as to how to approach the many divinities. Did they pray or reach out to every god each day? That would be exhausting. It was much more probable that gods were called upon one at a time. There is actually a term coined by Max Muller called Cathenotheism or Henotheism. This basically means one god at a time-ism. You focus on one divinity while realizing that there are others.